Welcome back, folks. We've got a two-video day. This one came about because of a comment. And as I am, by employment, an IT support professional, I got to thinking about a couple of things. And it's really something that I've seen in multiple places on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Imgur, other social media. And there's a lot of factors involved in how these things can happen. As always, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm not going to go into that whole thing on this one. What I'm seeing and what brought this up is basically what appears to be comment spam, but isn't. If you look at certain YouTube comments, you're going to see that one person posts differently phrased comments, but they're always the same comment. I'm not going to go into the why of this happening. Some of them are people who just do it. Others are random bots. There could be any number of reasons. What I'm talking about is where when you post a comment and all of a sudden you see it 5, 7, 10 times. I've actually had something like that happen very recently, and I got into a comment thread basically about technology. And there's a couple of things that when I was working for a cable television company, a cell phone company, the airline, hotel reservations, as I progressed through those industries, technology was already advancing rapidly. Back in the very late 90s, I worked for a major airline that was launching self-service online travel planning. Famously, this is one that came on 15 floppy disks. We weren't even to CD-ROM yet, or online download for installation of a program. My job really at that point was bug reporting and giving out bonus files. If you could not make either the website that was in its infancy or their installed program work, you would call my department. We would replicate the error, report the error to the programmers, and then we would book the flight and give you the bonus files, because we were trying to get people to use online travel planning via self-service. Eventually, I moved from there to hotel reservations, which were just starting to have online self-service reservations. And we were kind of doing the same thing. We were reporting the bug, troubleshooting, and we didn't really get into the same questions because in the late 1990s, you pretty much had a choice of Internet Explorer, Safari, or the new guy on the block, Firefox, and we weren't reporting those. We were telling them, okay, please try it in IE or please try it in Safari so that we can replicate here. I have said before that I basically grew up with technology, and I've grown with it as it grows. Not completely, because that would make me 100 years old. But 1982, kindergarten, I know I'm dating myself, I am now 42, 43 this year. But 1982, I was in kindergarten, and I was one of a group of kids that went to computer lab every day. And we were playing stupid little games and, learning the very fundamentals of using a computer. That was it. But as I progressed through elementary school, into middle, and then high school, it was still there all the time. During high school, I was one of a few people that our computer lab volunteer, trusted to help install software or troubleshoot computers. If we were in there and someone was having problems with a computer, if he was busy, then he would tell them, go get me, and I would help. And if I couldn't diagnose, I'd say you need to wait for him. Ironically, I was also responsible for my school district upgrading one of their softwares, because I was able to show them in my principal's office without actually hacking. But I could show them that there was a very easily accessible backdoor to the software, and I changed all my grades to A's. I did change them back because I didn't want to get expelled. But the reason they asked the computer lab guy, who then recommended me, is because someone had done that. And there just wasn't the tracking in the early to mid-90s. So they upgraded their software, and I'm sure there were some people very mad. But then I got out of high school, and I was writing stupid little web pages. I was learning more and more as time went on, and that led me to where I am today, where I'm not working for an airline and helping people figure out why they can't book a flight. Now, 9 times out of 10, they're trying to book a rate that has expired in the last 2 minutes because they took too long. And I just have to explain, I'm sorry, rates expire every second. But I'm actually supporting software for end users, and they're explaining what they're seeing, and I'm doing screen shares and so on. But I come back to the same advice very regularly, and that is check the version of your browser, check the version of your operating system, ensure you're not behind a firewall or antivirus program, check to ensure you've cleared your cache history and cookies. And a good probably 60 to 70% of the time, those things fix the issue. I'll notice they're working in Internet Explorer. I will tell you this, Microsoft has completely ended support for Internet Explorer. They're moving to Edge, which is a very brand new browser, and it is extremely basic. Think Internet Explorer when Windows launched. They're starting there and they're keeping it. Yeah, there's the joke that IE is there to download Chrome, but that's really all you could do. There were some very basic websites. You could check the weather, and you could probably check movie times, and read comics or something like that. But you couldn't run the more advanced sites, even 7 years ago in IE without problems. So we tell them, please try Chrome or Firefox, Mac or PC users. Please make sure they're up to date. Let's go in and clear the history and the cache and so on. And a lot of times it does fix it. Very famously, I had a coworker several years ago who could not log in, couldn't even launch the browser. And I was being cheeky. I just piped up, have you tried turning it off and back on again? So he pipes up, you know what, smart aleck, I'm just going to unplug it for 2 minutes. And he did. And 2 minutes later, it worked. You'd be surprised how often a power cycle works. If you look at that box right there with all those green lights, that is a high-speed cable modem. And where I live, I'm not on Spectrum or Charter or AT&T or Comcast or any of those. I'm on a local provider because the big dogs won't come out here. But because of that, they don't have the infrastructure that the big guys have behind their product. You'll notice I'm still making and uploading YouTube videos. But you'll notice all of those lights right now are green. If I notice one of them has gone out or one of them is orange, then I'm not online. And I live on the same land as my parents, basically neighboring plots, and we're close enough that we can actually piggyback on Wi-Fi. So if mine goes down, I unplug it and I take my phone and try to connect to their Wi-Fi. They do the same. If theirs isn't working, then we call the internet company. But my dad and I both, first thing we do, unplug the modem, 2 full minutes. They recommend 30 seconds, I go 4 times. And I tell them, I power cycled, I waited 2 minutes to plug it back in. And they're able to work from there. I mean, I've called Microsoft helping my nephew when he was younger with his Xbox, and he couldn't get on Xbox Live. And I rattled off, it's an Xbox, it's this generation, here's the serial number, I have power cycled. We've power cycled our modem, we've checked our connection, I'm able to watch YouTube on it, so that's not the issue. And on and on and on. I probably rattled off the answer to the first 15 questions they asked. And it's because I work in that industry. I ask those questions. But that's things to think about. You're going to experience issues with technology. And honestly, we're going to experience those issues with technology until the end of time. Because computers, as wonderful as they are created, programmed, and serviced by humans. I doubt we'll ever reach the level of AI shown in any of the apocalyptic movies. Boston Dynamics are creating robots that do very simple tasks. It's literally a claw machine on legs, and it has a barcode reader. It stands until the barcode it wants comes in front of it, picks it up, puts it in another place, return, rinse, repeat. Yes, Corridor Digital, or Bosstown Dynamics, have shown some very funny videos, but we're nowhere near that level of AI. So you're still going to have your computers built, programmed, serviced by humans. But as much as we hear, and I hear it, and I try not to use it, but Google is the big dog. And we hear things about Google, collecting data or censoring certain things or whatnot. Chrome is still the most reliable browser that I have access to. Firefox is second, but it's not horribly, horribly close. I cannot run YouTube or Netflix or Hulu or any of the streaming services in Firefox on a Mac. I can on PC. That tells me there's an OS difference. But I don't know how to, I have no access to change that. So, I mean, those are just some tips that I've come across. And I know not everyone is as comfortable with technology as others, has as much experience as some others may, and so on. I work in the industry, have now in this one job for almost 8 years. And I've learned these things. You can go to whatsmybrowser.com or whatsmyos.com. It will give you what operating system or browser you're running and the version it is on, and if you need to update. I know technically I'm behind on my version of operating system because Catalina has come out and I'm still on Yosemite. But I don't want to upgrade because I like Yosemite and it still works. But again, those are just some things that have come up in my most recent 8 years and before that I thought I'd share. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like the video, comment, stay civil as always, and subscribe and share so that we can grow the channel and the conversation. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.